Welcome to another episode of TikToks. If you're someone who just started listening or have been listening to us since day one, we want you to know that you matter to us and we are so grateful for your support.
If you have any comments, questions, or topic suggestions na gusto nyong pagkwentuhan namin sa show, mag-send lang kayo ng message through our email, gili.dave04@gmail.com.
Or you can send us a DM on our personal social accounts, Dave Jan Aragon or Jilly Nicomedes, both on Facebook and Instagram.
Enjoy listening!
Welcome back, guys! Hello, how are you doing? Welcome back to another episode of TikToks. Again, my name is Jilly and I am with Dave. And this is a podcast about self-help and everything adulting. I know we've been on a hiatus for quite a long time. Ang tagal since our last episode, right? Anong month yung last episode natin?
October. The last episode we had was about ghosting, and we ghosted our listeners. Sorry,
I'm
guys.
sorry. Very relevant ng topic. Ang perfect eh. Kakatapos lang mag-discuss about ghosting, biglang nawala tayo bigla. Alam naman ang daming nakikinig, pero
Practice what we
still.
preach talaga. No?
Yeah.
There are people talaga
Yeah.
na they're asking me what happened to your podcast. Parang, ba't di daw tayo nag-upload? So sabi ko, we're just having a break. And we deserve that. Sorry.
And also, we wanted to extend our gratitude sa lahat ng taong nag-follow up sa podcast namin. Know that we really appreciate those little messages na nare-receive namin na nangangamusta kayo, when will be the next episode, ganyan. So, na-appreciate namin yun ng sobra. And you are one of the main reasons why we are still here and recording. So, ayun.
Totoo. And to add with that, yung 3-month hiatus natin, of course, parang yung iba, some people are worried hala, baka mga lawang, whatever. But, it's actually a very, 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 very parang important time for us kasi we were able to think of how we can improve this podcast. Diba? How we can serve you guys better. Yes, serve you guys better.
SF.
Paano namin mai-improve yung podcast when it comes to content, with the topics that we're going to discuss, etc. So, ayun, talagang pagbalik namin 2.0 na to. Yes, really.
Sobrang helpful nga talaga
Version 2.0.
What we did.
Okay, so, ayun. Enough with the intro. Let's discuss na, or let's start to tell them what are we going to discuss. So, ngayon, I know it's kind of a bit late kasi it's the second week of January na. We were supposed to upload this sana ng New Year, but that's okay. So, today, we'll be talking about the lessons that we guys have learned for the past year. And I'm sure these lessons, makaka-relate kayo kasi almost everyone, it's the same lessons that we have learned. And what are the goals or ano yung mga plano namin moving forward this year? How are we planning to survive during this pandemic? Diba? Knowing na may bagong strain ha. So yeah.
So today we're going to start this season by looking back on the things we learned from 2020. So unang half muna tayo, which is 2020 reflections. So the first thing that I wanted to ask you, Dave, or you guys also, ask yourselves these questions. What are the 3 new experiences you did back in 2020? So this is a way also of trying to look at all the positive things that happened, what went well, or it can be the highlights of your year.
So yan, ano ba, for the people who have been listening to this podcast, so I know that you guys know that I have started doing the volunteering, and for the crisis line, parang we talk to people who are having some bad times, we provide emotional support, and I'm glad to share na I finished the volunteering hours. So, parang isa na akong ganap na crisis line responder. I'm certified na. So, that's it. It's a new experience for me kasi I was able to help other people, kahit na nasa bahay lang ako, diba? I was able to talk to them and relate that I'm not the only one who's struggling during this time. And then, another experience is that, I think, hindi ko pa ito nakwento kay Julie kasi wala, hindi kami masyado nakapag-chikahan before mag-end yung year. But during our 3-month hiatus, I've been talking to people from the different parts of the world. Kasi, parang it's a new experience for me. Actually, I've never done this thing before. Parang what happened was, I was bored, di ba? Parang I was bored, parang ano ba yan, I want to leave the house, I want to go to different places, but of course we can't do that, and I don't have money to do that, di ba, to travel around the world. So, I downloaded an app. It's for language learners who are, wanting to meet people from different culture. Tapos parang they want to practice that particular language that they're trying to learn. So ako, I chose Spanish. Wala lang, eme lang, hindi ko naman aaralin. Tapos Korean, tsaka basta mga iba pang language. So sabi ko, that my objective is to meet people from different cultures. So yun, I've been talking with people from Korea, from Russia, from people from Latin America, from Europe, ganon. Tapos yung iba dun, they are working, some of them are students. And something that I want to share na sobrang natutunan ko is that we are all in the same boat. Kasi di ba parang, ito, guilty ako na parang, oh, I wanted to go abroad. I wanted to travel abroad. Baka doon better sila. Kasi dito sa Philippines, sobrang, oh my God, our situation really sucks. Which is true naman, di ba, te?
Yeah.
Diba, listeners, totoo naman yan. Mga balita natin mula nung December, sobrang, oh my God, what's happening in this world?
Parang di pa ba
Tapos,
tapos? 2020?
exactly. Parang, ano
Dami.
ba, may pasabog pa, ganun. So, what happened was, when I was talking to these people from, from Spain, ganyan, from Italy, from Korea, which is mga nasa first world country, mga nasa western countries, parang they feel the same thing na parang, oh, they hate the government, parang they hate the system, tapos ang dami daw cases, naman daw nangyayari, tapos
Yeah.
bukod dun sa coronavirus issue, ang dami din daw crime, whatever. So parang, nagkaroon ako ng epiphany. Sabi ko, oh my God, I've been wanting to leave this country. I've been wanting to leave my hometown, knowing for a fact na parang, baka kasi doon okay. But I never realized na, oh my God, we're all in the same boat. So, yun, it really taught me a big lesson. So, yun, tsaka ang saya, parang feeling ko nagka-travel ako. Like, for example,
Mm.
they send me photos in Russia. It's snow ngayon eh. It's winter in Russia
Yeah.
and Korea. So, they've been sending me a lot of videos and photos ng snow, ganyan. So, ang galing. Ngayon nyo rin yun pag naboboard kayo. And eto, hindi naman nabago sa inyong lahat. Third experience that we both have tried, usually, is, of course, to
Yeah.
build and create this podcast. It's actually one of the highlights of our 2020. It kept our sanity. Tsaka, yun, nagkaroon man ng hiatus and whatever, pero grabe parang baby namin tong podcast.
Yeah.
Nasabi ko nga, there are times we want to give up. There are times, oh my God, atin parang wala man nakikinig. But knowing that there are people na, they're waiting for us to record a new episode, they're rooting for us, talagang sobrang ate hindi tayo pwedeng huminto, may naghihintay sa atin. Parang ganon, di ba? So,
Eee.
yun. Ikaw ba? Ano yung mga,
True.
yes, kilig kayo guys.
Yeah. Okay.
Ikaw ba? Anong mga ano mo? Share mo sa mga listeners natin yung 3 things that you have experienced na malay mo sila din, di ba? Na-experience,
Oo.
relate sila.
Okay. So the first thing, of course, you have mentioned this podcast. It's really a new experience for
Yeah.
both of us, especially that we did this um during the pandemic where every meeting
Yeah.
is not allowed. So actually the pandemic
Mm-mm.
enabled us to really start on this, 'di ba? Kasi ang tagal na rin natin tong pinaplano. But
Exactly.
it was
Oo.
the quarantine or the lockdown that gave us the opportunity to record. Ayun. So this
Mm.
podcast, and then I was actually reflecting after nung New Year about the new experiences that I have
Mm.
experienced. Pero sa first half kasi ng New Year before the lockdown, I was very lucky to experience long rides on bikes kasi 'di ba
Mm.
nagbabike ako
Wow.
paminsan-minsan. So ayun.
Mm-mm.
Accomplishment ko 'yun yung I was able to do more than 150 kilometers bike bike
Wow. Ang
ride.
galing.
Tapos,
Mm-mm.
kasama rin sa new activities ko is I know if you have been listening from on our previous episodes, I have started doing meditation and I realized Benefits of doing it, yung simple breathing exercises lang and how it helps to clear your
It really
mind.
helps.
So, iyon.
Mm-mm.
Wellness. On the wellness part, medyo marami akong na-try on the first half of the year. And also, the
Yeah.
last one is yung I started teaching English to Japanese students. You know this naman,
Wow.
di ba? So,
Yeah.
it's a side job which
Uh-uh.
I really liked kasi na-enjoy ko
Mm-mm.
siya eh. Na-enjoy ko the fact that
Mm-mm.
I speak to different or I talk to different personalities every time na nagka-class
Yeah.
ako, and at the same time nage-gauge
Yeah.
mo kung bored ba sila, kung eager ba silang matuto, and
Yeah.
alam mo, na-experience ko sa kanila, Dave, yung what you mentioned a while ago na we're all on the same boat. Kasi every time we talk about
Exactly.
the current situation in our country, it's almost the same with them. Same sentiments sila sa
Yeah.
government, sa actions na ginagawa
Uh-uh.
ng public. So, iniisip ko na lang
Yeah.
na,
Mm-mm.
yeah, I think
It
we're
banded
both,
us all together.
yeah,
Yeah.
we're all experiencing the same bad things,
Totoo.
just on different levels,
Totoo.
I think. So, yun, those are my three. Okay, ito. Feeling ko naman yung 2020 ko is not entirely bad at all because a lot of good things came out of it. Ikaw
Mm.
ba?
Yeah, the same. And I think it's the same for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
I've been reading a lot of posts from Instagram and Twitter na sabi nila, oh, this year has been bad for so many people, but this is the year na parang I gave birth to my son for the moms, di ba? Ganon. May silver lining in this pandemic. And then yung iba naman parang, oh, this is the year for me na I was able to reunite with my family kasi we stayed at home, na I wasn't able to do this for a long time because I've been busy with my work, with my school. So, yun nga, it's very cliche, but there's always a good and negative side sa mga
Mm-hmm.
nangyayari sa atin. So, yeah, we're more grateful than ever. Fine.
Yes.
So, let's proceed to the next part. So now we've discussed ano yung mga new experiences namin for the past years. Now, we are going to share naman what are the habits that we left during the 2020 or yung mga negative, sides na nagawa namin or napakita namin na o hindi na namin dapat dalhin sa taong to. Sige, ikaw muna, Julie. What are the three things na ayaw mo nang dalhin for this year?
Yeah, okay. So for this question, you can actually ask yourself, guys, the three things that you overcame this year or the
Yeah,
habits that you want to leave or you left in 2020. So
yeah.
it's
Mm,
also a way of celebrating the small wins. So yung mga bagay na
mm,
na-overcame mo. So ako siguro first thing that was on my list when I answered this question is yung burnout, because I remember the first few
mm.
months when I started working from home and how I didn't
Yeah.
know how to take a break. Alam mo yun, wala na kasing boundaries kapag nasa
Oh,
bahay ka eh. Wala yung pag
yeah, yeah,
time
yeah.
for break na or time for lunch.
Mm,
Wala yung the normal chit-chat
mm,
with your co-workers. So, if
mm,
ikaw yung
mm.
type of person that's very dedicated or kapag nakapagsimula ka na on working, you don't know how to stop. So
Yeah,
ayun, uh,
okay.
one of the things that I
Very
overcame is
dedicated.
yun, burnout,
Yeah.
and how I learned how to take a break. Also, the second thing
Mm,
that I overcame is ang weird nito. Pero sige, share ko na. I think I'm proud that I was able to handle relationships with toxic people. Alam mo yun? You know that
mm,
um, some of them can be very close to you or a dear friend. But
mm.
sometimes hindi naman
Yeah,
porket friends kayo, eh, wala nang tendency for you to be toxic to each other. So, ayun.
yeah,
I was able to handle those situations and not just entirely cut ties with those people. Because yun yung sinasabi nila, di ba? If the person is too toxic for
mm,
you, I think it's better if you cut ties with them. But ako
yeah,
naman, I would like to give them the chance, I think. And I'm not into entirely cutting off people from my life. Parang
yeah.
medyo I'm
Mm,
working on that eh. Ayoko nang nawawalan ng tao na nakapaligid sa akin.
kaibigan or
So as
tao.
much as possible,
Mm.
I will try to nurture the relationship that we have and
Mm-mm.
communicate kung ano yung nagagawa
Mm-mm.
niya na hindi maganda. So ayun. I think
Yeah.
that's one of the good things I was
Oo.
able to overcame. Ayun,
Mm-mm, that's good.
just to
Saka
fight.
ano, at least you're trying to save the relationship. I think what you said is applicable naman. If what happened between you guys, hindi man sobrang lala,
Mhm.
nakahiwa-hiwalay. But if
Mhm.
someone did na sobrang sama talaga, like parang, oh my God, nadama yung buong family mo, yung pagkatao mo, it's
Yeah.
okay to cut ties. But like
Mhm.
what you said, for the simple things na pwede naman i-fix or pwede
Mhm.
pag-usapan, it's okay to save the relationship. And you'll never know na maybe you're there for that person kasi you're an instrument for that person to grow and to learn.
Yeah.
Diba? Kasi na-real
Mhm.
talk mo siya, what went
Mhm.
wrong, whatever. So,
That's
yun.
true.
Okay ka na ba?
Yes. And
Okay.
wait lang, per
So, oh sorry,
disclaimer.
go. Cut natin
Sorry,
yung part na yun.
disclaimer. Ah, okay.
Okay.
And disclaimer lang ha, it's my personal choice to not cut ties with them kasi alam ko na yung relationship masisave pa. Baka lang mag-react yung iba na if it's not healthy, why not cut ties with them?
I
Ganyan.
get what you
But
mean.
it's your
Totoo.
own
Kumbaga,
choice, guys.
ka naman.
It's your own
Oo.
prerogative pa rin naman if you wanted to totally not see them anymore
Cut
or
cut.
not have them in your life. Ayun.
Mm-hmm. Totoo. Okay, thank you for that. So, for the habits naman na I want to leave for the 2020, I think number one is I've been starting to do a lot of things. Diba? Parang, well, not only me, but I think almost every one of us. Parang they started to open a new business, they started to learn a new skill, they started to enroll an online class, they started to, ano pa ba yung mga ginagawa ngayon ng mga tao? To do a creative content in social media, anything. So, one of my attitude before, siguro during pandemic, na it's a good thing kasi ngayon, medyo na-overcome ko na siya. Kasi sa umpisa lang, magaling, parang okay, you'll start to do these things,
Yeah.
tapos hindi mo tatapusin. Yeah, kasi parang it's easy for you to try new things kasi you get too excited. So, parang gusto ko to. Tapos nagsawa ka lang,
Mm-mm.
ay gusto ko to.
Mm-mm.
Parang ganyan. So ngayon, I'm trying to finish what I have started. Kasi it doesn't make any sense if you guys will start a lot of things and wala, at the end of the day, nga, nothing
Yeah,
naman,
yeah.
nothing, wala kang na-achieve. So that's one. And second is,
Sige.
okay, so the second one is, I think, I was able to overcome this. Kasi in the beginning of the year, when the pandemic started, I think I've shared this during the first episode that we have uploaded last June, na I feel so stuck and stagnant, like I want to escape na my current situation. I keep on whining and complaining, diba? Ano ba yan? Ba't ganito yung mundo? Whatever. So, what I've learned is you have to ask yourself, what can you do at this point of time? Or habang wala pa yung wini-wish mo, or while you're waiting for something to happen, you have to think of logical ways on how you can survive in this current situation. Not only in pandemic, like for example, you're in a job that you don't want. Parang, gusto ko na umalis. I want to leave the job. I'm not happy
Yeah.
anymore. But while you are waiting for the let's say nag-apply ka na, diba? Let's say this month, oh, I want to leave the job. Tapos you're looking for other opportunities. So, why don't you try to think of other ways para maging happy ka for the meantime?
Mhm.
Diba? Maging contented ka or for you to survive lang at this very moment. So, that's it. Kasi I realize na parang the more you want to veer away from the situation
Mm.
or the more that you want to get out from the situation, hindi ka paaalisin kasi parang maybe God is teaching you something na okay, don't escape your problems wherever you go, di ka tatakasan yan. So, that's it. And the third
Yeah,
one
that's a good
is
one.
parang naging pangatlo pala, di ba, a lot of us are reminding ourselves that it's okay to take a break, it's okay to um, feel feel sad or feel lonely. Parang itong last months of the year, naging complacent talaga ako, guys. Parang, oh my God, ano ba yan? Tinatamad na ako kasi humaba yung break. And I want to
Kasi.
include, kasi di ba parang a lot of people are parang okay, it's okay to take a break. It's okay to take
Ah,
a
oh, true.
rest. It's
Eh,
okay.
kaso,
Tapos ako
break mo,
parang
3 months,
napakahaba.
ganon.
Ayun, tapos
Ang tagal.
nangyari, eto, ang
Mhm.
affected talaga is our podcast. Kasi parang tinamad na ako. Sabi ko nga, oh my God, nawala yung drive and yung grit ko.
Totoo naman.
Ewan ko kay Gilly, but ako sa akin nangyari siya. So, sabi ko, oh, okay, dapat meron ka talagang, ano yung balance siya na you know when to take a break and when you know when
When
your
to,
break is enough already.
yeah,
Oo, it's
yeah.
enough. Tama na. Tama na. Nasarapan ka sa break. So,
Mm.
ayun. So, yeah. Okay. Ngayon naman, what are the things that we have learned? Parang kanina pa tayo nagtiting sa what we have learned. Pero ngayon, like the epiphanies or
Mhm.
parang maybe a habit or an attitude na nakita natin from other people around us. So,
Mhm.
ikaw muna, what are the things that you have learned or anything na maybe you're applying it to yourself right now?
Okay. So, ito naman, the next question, as Dave mentioned, the three things that I learned, which I think changed my perspective, and I'm still trying to apply it in everything that I do and think. So, the first thing, I know I've mentioned this often on the previous podcast, but sobrang cliche man, but sobrang relevant ng solitude. Alam mo yun? Because 2020 for me was the year that I
Yeah.
also discovered myself and how I learned that I am really craving for solitude and alone time. And solitude, guys, can be beautiful, and remember that it's different from loneliness, okay? Pag loneliness, it's the emotions of you feeling sad. But solitude is enjoying your own company. So I learned how to take care of myself and giving myself breaks. But at the same time, yung sinabi nga ni Dave kanina, wag tayo masyadong natutuwa sa breaks natin kasi you just have to know
I'm
when,
guilty of that.
'di ba? Grabe. Totoo 'yun. Sobrang agree ako doon. Alam mo 'yun. Wag nat alam natin na kailangan natin ng break, but sometimes we really have to realize when it's time to start again. Hindi yung natuwa na tayo sa break. But at the same time, remember, I always remind myself that I don't have to rush on everything. Alam mo yun, it's very important to do things at your own pace and practice not to compare yourself with others' achievements. Like, alam mo, normal sa atin yung, for example, ilang taon na ba si, yung sikat na artist na to? Like,
Yeah.
tapos, parang pag na-realize natin na ka-age natin sila, oh my God, ang dami na niyang na-accomplish at that age, and we're the
Mm,
same age ha, tapos ako ganito lang, ganyan. So, don't do that kasi it's not healthy for you. Remember that
yeah.
your situations and circumstances are very different. Kaya
Yeah.
don't push yourself too much. So that's one thing. And then the second one is na-realize ko lang on myself that I accomplish more things when I'm working with someone because I think it's the accountability that's working for me. For example, this podcast. I know
Yeah.
I've wanted to do this for a long time, but alam ko sa sarili ko na if it weren't for Dave na palaging nagpo-push, and every time that I get stuck in a rut or nawawalan ng drive, she's always there to push, push, push. Kaya parang ako, oo nga no, nare-realize ko yung mga bagay na dapat na ginagawa ko to achieve what I want to achieve. So, the lesson
Yeah.
from that is I think it's you always have to surround yourself with people who have the drive to do what the things that they want to do. It's all about surrounding yourself with um, aspiring people. Yung gusto,
Like-minded people.
yes,
Mm.
like-minded people. Yung gusto na palaging may ginagawa or na-accomplish yung mga bagay na gusto nilang gawin. Hindi yung puro break lang, puro parties, puro chill. Alam mo yun,
Mm-mm.
kailangan meron din
Totoo.
yung dedication and passion on doing what you want. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's
Mm-mm.
yeah, that's three. So solitude,
Mm-mm.
not comparing yourself to others' accomplishments, and surrounding yourself with people that will help you
Mm-mm.
grow.
Yeah, totoo. And in addition to surrounding yourself with people na they can help you to grow, siguro yung it's okay to surround yourself then with people who have the same amount of effort and
Mhm.
parang yung adjustments that they're willing to do. Kasi sometimes you have the same vision, you guys want to do the same thing, but the other one is not that
Yeah.
committed as you
Mm-hmm.
are, diba? Which is nagiging struggle yun and nagiging cause of conflict siya in the long run. Yeah, that's a good
Yeah. What
reflection.
about you?
Okay, so yeah, okay. So, ito naman, three things that I've learned. Ano ba? Okay, number one is self-compassion and being comfortable in your own skin. So, what do we mean by this? Okay, so during this pandemic, a lot of us, or most of us, have started to do things that are really out of our comfort zone. Right? So, a lot of parang businessmen, they lost their income, they lost their business, so they started to make online selling, mga online tinda-tinda,
Mm-hmm.
whatever, like
Yeah.
Angeli Dab, di ba? Parang from Access
Mm-hmm.
Travel, she built the
Bulilit
kitchen,
kitchen.
whatever. So, I just realized na it's a perfect time for us. This pandemic is a perfect time for us to do everything that we want without the fear of judgment of other people. Why? Because we are all in the same boat. Kasi before, parang, di ba, parang, medyo kinokondemn yun eh. Which is a sad thing, na parang, in our society, di ba yan, you finished 4-year college, tapos you're just selling online. Or, yan, English teaching, parang sasabihin, ano ba yan? You finished engineering. Why are you just teaching English yung Japanese people? Tapos parang yung iba naman, why are you in a BPO? Eh di ba, graduate ka ng nursing or whatever.
Yeah.
So now, this is the perfect time for us na, hey, ano ba, wala tayong kakainin, mag-aarte-arte ka dyan. So,
Mm-mm.
parang natuwa ako kasi ang daming people who are working from travel industry, mga flight attendant or mga pilot na parang nagbebenta sila online. Tapos parang, yun na nga, it banded us all together. Kasi parang we have no choice. We have to feed ourselves. We have to survive. It's not the
Mm-mm.
time for us to show off and to show the world what I have. But it's a perfect time for us to bind together and to survive. Diba? Survival of the fittest tayo. So that's
Yeah.
one.
Ganda nun.
So
Mm-mm.
yeah, self-compassion din siya actually. Kasi parang, wait na, parang naging self-compassion yun. Parang being comfortable
Kasi
in your own
parang
skin.
not comparing, hindi man not comparing,
Oo.
pero you don't have to look down on yourself just because this is what you're doing
Yeah.
right now and ito yung natapos mo
Yeah.
and this is
Oo.
what people
Totoo.
expect of you to do. Alam mo yun, you don't have
Exactly.
to level up to other people's expectations, but
Oo.
just on
So,
yourself lang. So,
totoo. Yeah. So, yun. Tama. Buti sinave mo ko. Sorry. Self-compassion din pala is, one thing I've learned, kasi I attended a workshop online dun sa org ko nga, is that one thing that I've shared to them is that this time, na-unleash yung potential natin as a human being. Like, for example, in my situation before, I want to share it with you guys. When I was in college, I took up communication. A lot of you already know that. So before, I have this feeling of I'm a mediocre human being. Parang ano ba yan? I'm an average person. A lot of people around me are good writers, good directors, good actors. And ako para akong mushroom dito sa College of Communication. But then, sabi ko, I realized na my only talent is empathizing, listening to people, talking about life, epiphanies, and self-help. Tapos, pandemic happened, which is nagkaroon ng kumalat sa social media yung mga mental health, you have to be kind to yourself. So sabi ko, etong time na to, this is the time that I realized na, oh my God, I have talent pala. The world needs me. Kasi before naisip ko, ano ba yung magiging trabaho ng good listener? Ano bang future ng empathic person? Ano bang future ng taong ano yun, when someone's telling a story, you already get what they mean, like the
yeah.
nitty-gritty of it. It's easy for you to funnel down things. Sabi ko, ano bang future nun? And then I realized na, oh my God, I'll be using this skill set and mindset for this podcast, for the volunteering, the mental health organization. And in this little own way, I was able to help people, to inspire people, and to connect to people that I really don't know who are experiencing a lot of struggles during this pandemic. So yun, parang sabi ko may pakinabang pala ako sa mundo. And
Grabe.
another thing I
Mm,
want to share, yeah,
mm,
kasi before I felt so
yeah.
useless. Parang
Mm,
sa ba yan? Saan ba ako pupunta? And then also, one thing I've learned from the podcast that I've listened to last November, it's really a good advice that I want to share with you guys, is how to quiet your inner critics. Parang if there's a situation na you feel like you don't have a purpose in this world, you have to imagine anong magiging itsura ng world na to if wala yung talent na meron ka. So let's say your talent is just magsasaka ka, farmer ka. Okay, isipin mo nasa laylayan ako ng lipunan. But imagine, anong klaseng mundo meron tayo if walang magsasaka, if walang farmer, sinong magpapakain sa mga tao, walang rice. So imagine, yun nga, anong magiging itsura ng mundo na to. And then we realize na, oh my God, ang laki pala ng naaambag or ng contribution ko sa society.
You have to
So,
know your
nandiyan
value.
ko yan ngayon.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yun. And then, the last one is, of course, it's very, very important then, is to have the self-boundaries. You know when to say no, when to say yes in terms of your job, in terms of friendship. If you're not comfortable to do this thing, it's okay to become honest and to be true to yourself. Tell your friends, hey, I'm not comfortable doing this sa
Mm-hmm.
trabaho and whatever. So that's it. And finally, of course, just let God to be the guide of your life. Kasi no matter how much we plan for our future, if it's not His God's will, it's not gonna happen. Proven yan ngayong pandemic.
Yeah.
So, yeah, dami ko sinabi. I hope I make sense. I made
Yeah.
sense.
So beautiful. Ayan.
So, ano ba?
Okay.
Last na,
So,
wrap up. Yeah,
okay. So, thank you so much for all the things that you mentioned, Dave. Sobrang ganda nung mga yun.
yeah.
And I hope
Thank you.
it's helpful to everyone who's listening right now. And we hope that the questions that we answered today, you can ask yourself also. You can write it down para lang ma-organize yung
Yeah,
thoughts nyo. But, okay. Now that we're done looking back at 2020, now let's set our intentions for 2021. At the same time, if you wanted to answer this question, guys, you can also put yung malalaking goals nyo that you want to accomplish for the entire year. But the reason why we started with the mini goals is because we want um, to start small and start slow kasi para mas lalong may ma-accomplish tayo. That's just us. But you can set your intentions on your own way naman. So, ikaw muna, Dave. What are the three goals you have for the first half of the year?
actually, ang dami ko sinabi, but I only have one goal for this year. Okay?
Okay,
And it's the
sige.
same with Joy Spring because I listened to her first episode for this
Yeah.
year. Sabi ko,
Mm-hmm.
my God, same kami. So sabi ko, I want to be consistent with everything that I do, everything
Mm-hmm.
that I have started from last year. I've mentioned earlier na I've been starting a lot of things and I wasn't able to finish those things. Shame on me. So now sabi ko, this year, ayoko na magdagdag kasi ang dami pang nakapending. So sabi ko, I want to be consistent with everything that I do. I want to be better with what I do. In this podcast, in the volunteering, in the church
Yeah.
duties, diba? Tumaas yung level mo, yung quality mo as a person, as a
Yeah.
human being. I want to be consistent sa pagiging good listener, pagiging compassionate, pagiging empathic, pagiging good friend, good citizen in this country, diba? So, yun lang. I want to become consistent talaga
Mm-hmm.
with everything that I do. And I hope na at the end of this year, when I listen to this podcast sa December, I was able to do that. Dave, kamusta? Natapos mo
Mm-hmm.
ba yung mga nasimulan mo? That's
Yeah.
it. For
Mm-hmm.
me, that is success na. Yun yung
Mm-hmm.
measure of success ko for this 2020. Yan, for this year. Ikaw ba?
Okay. Very wonderful. Almost, actually, etong list of mini goals ko, kapag i-comprise mo siya, it's the same as being, as to
Yeah.
yours na you have to really be consistent because it will not be achievable or doable if you're not consistent and you don't push yourself to do
Yeah.
it. So, okay, dadaanan ko na lang because ang ganda na ng sinabi mo. So, the first one is my goal for the first half of the year is I don't want to push myself hard. I wanted to slow down and start small. Kasi alam mo yun, when it's the January hype na the beginning of a new year, so everyone's writing down their goals and some people their approach is they wanted to achieve everything ng mabilisan. Like as long as they can, they have to achieve, do everything as much as they can. But for me, I wanted to take the first half of the year slow, but at the same time accomplishing things. So I list down all the tiny things that I need to accomplish. Yung hanggang sa detail na kailangan kong ma-process yung gantong paper sa ganitong time limit that I gave myself. Kailangan eto may ganito ng followers for this time of the year, like for example sa podcast
Yeah.
natin, ganyan. So I set down.
Sana nga.
Yes, I write down specific goals for myself that I have to accomplish, but at the same time I remind myself to not push myself too hard. Okay, and then the second one is eto medyo specific, but I wanted to get back on my reading habit kasi I know the last few months and last year medyo naging busy on different things that medyo naglag ako when it comes to my pile of to read list. So I wanted to get back on that, as well as I also wanted to get back on writing. Like writing in a sense na I know it's my job, but writing in a sense na for
Yeah.
personal um expressions, not just journaling because I do
Mhm.
journal, but writing fiction maybe or poetry, but because it's yeah,
Mm.
I wanted to focus on that craft for the first half of the year. And yun, the third one that I wrote here is the same as yours. Na hindi possible lahat ng yun kung hindi ka consistent. So you have to be
Yeah.
consistent, be better as a whole. Yung sobrang ganda nung sinabi mo na taasan pa yung quality mo as a person. And also,
Yeah.
I wanted to nurture and treasure the relationships that I have right now with friends,
Yeah.
family. Kasi, alam mo
Mm.
yun, mas na-realize ko yung mga taong nandyan for you or every
Mm.
time na makaka-experience ka ng bad things or you're going through hard
Yeah.
times. So, I
Mm.
don't want to let go of those kinds of relationships. So, ayun.
Yeah. Ang
Ayun
ganda.
lang.
Ang ganda ng last part about the relationship na you said you want to nurture those people around you. I agree. Kasi we don't know until when will this pandemic is gonna, take place in our world. So, it's a
Mhm.
perfect time to reconcile to those people na yun, meron tayong hindi pagkakaunawaan sa kanila, or sometimes if you're arguing with your friend or your loved ones, I think we should all be considerate na parang, okay, I have to understand you. I would rather lose the argument rather than losing this person that I love.
Yeah.
So, yun din yung realism. Kasi you'll never know when you will see them again, di ba? Biglang nagkaka-lockdown or whatever, kasi di na naman kayo makikita for
Yeah.
the few months. So, why
Very,
don't just
oo.
spend
Mhm.
the time that you're with them na talagang be with them, live in the present. So,
Yeah,
that's it.
kahit yung yung mga friends na hindi mo normally nakikita, but you know that your bond is strong. Yung the
Yeah.
normal, simple texting lang or chatting, asking them how they're doing or magre-reply ka sa mga stories nila para lang magkaroon kayo ng small talks because those little connections are the things that make my day. Yung mini
So,
usap, random kwentuhan about something. You
checking up
know,
on you.
oh, oh, yun. Ayun. Yun lang.
Hey
So,
guys, we really missed doing this episode. So
yeah,
I hope that you
actually.
stayed with us until the very end. We will promise, okay, not really promise, but we will try our very best not to take a break again na ganon kahaba. Siguro mag-break kami, mga break talaga, mag-jowa. Ayun, we'll take a break for siguro mga 1 week, but we'll try our very best to improve this podcast and to share more meaningful and insightful conversations with you guys. I hope
Yeah.
you'll stay with us until the end. And promote nyo naman yung podcast namin. Maawa na kayo. Yun
Promote nyo na.
lang.
Nasa Spotify lang
Pakiusap.
kami, guys, and Apple Podcast. Lahat ng may podcast, nandun na kami. So, bye!
You've reached yet another end of our episode, and we thank you.
Send us your support. Follow, subscribe, and listen to us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Don't forget to take care of yourself today. Sending you warm hugs with 5 feet distance. Love you.